Hey, welcome back to True Crime Tragic. Thank you so much for being here. Today's news is coming from California, and it is about a 38-year-old lady that filed a lawsuit against various low-standard beverage companies and was found lifeless in her country home. Her name was Adrienne Janoff, and she was an environmental activist. This case has many details, and I will do my best to summarize this story for you while respecting the victim and her family. Let me begin with the fact that this woman lived in a luxurious country home in Santa Barbara County, which is in California. According to the LA Times, the home where this woman was found lifeless belonged to her parents. It is a large property, almost 9 acres. You can find this property on Zillow. You can see it there for $22 million. And yes, I did look at it. This is truly a gorgeous home. Here's what it looks like. She was found on Saturday, January 28, 2023 in the garage of her parents' home in the Santa Ynez Valley. According to the sheriff's officials, they were called to the residence around 5:30 p.m. on Saturday by a family member who found Adrienne unresponsive in the garage. Despite the fact that paramedics responded quickly, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, the investigation is still ongoing. They found a note next to her body, but they haven't released any details about the contents of that note. Before we move on, please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy my work, and I would love to have you here. Now let's go over the lawsuit that she filed. So, in December 2022, the young woman sued Nestle, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola. She claimed that these corporations were polluting waterways with microplastics and other toxic chemicals. The woman demanded that the court order these corporations to clean up their manufacturing process. Now, this is important to understand why she specifically chose these 3 corporations. One of the main points that she made in her lawsuit is that there are only 3 major corporations that manufacture almost all of the flavored sparkling water sold in the United States. Those corporations are Nestle, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola. That's how she ended up naming them in her lawsuit. The woman learned that there are naturally occurring radioactive elements called per- and polyfluoroalkyls in the non-stick coating that lines the inside of the manufacturing equipment. That these 3 corporations use to make their products, PDFs or PFAS, can be very dangerous for humans. We know that they pose serious health risks such as increased cholesterol levels, liver damage, kidney cancer, testicular cancer, thyroid disease, increased blood pressure, elevated levels of triglycerides, and birth defects. In her complaint, she wrote, "These toxic forever chemicals, once in the body, have no known safe level of exposure." She also wrote that in addition to PFAS, the beverage makers dumped other toxic chemicals into the water supply chain, including styrene, which can lead to brain and nervous system damage. Here's what else is important to mention. In addition to being an environmental activist and a nature lover, the woman was also a litigator. Before becoming an environmental activist, she worked at a law firm that specialized in personal injury lawsuits. That explains why she wrote her own lawsuit and named the major beverage companies as defendants. One of the things she mentioned in the lawsuit is that these 3 major beverage companies knew about the problem since 1974, but instead of doing the right thing and protecting consumers, they decided to cover it up. So she wanted the court to order these 3 beverage companies to change their ways, to change their manufacturing process, and to remove these dangerous chemicals. She also wanted them to pay her $5 million in damages. I wanted to read you a quote from this lawsuit because it really shows how thorough she was. She wrote, "It is well known in the scientific community and has been common knowledge in the industry for decades that products made with PFAS will inevitably be contaminated by PFAS. Indeed, once PFAS enters a product, it essentially never leaves the product. That's how harmful these chemicals are. They stay in the product, and they stay in our bodies." Sadly, just a few weeks after filing this lawsuit, she was found dead in her garage. I want to say that she had every right to file this lawsuit. People have the right to speak out against corporations when they feel like they are putting people's lives in danger. There are laws in place to protect people who speak up against dangerous corporations. But unfortunately, many of us live in a world where speaking up comes at a very high price. I know that I would personally face retaliation in one form or another if I spoke out against some of these powerful corporations. Here's what I don't understand about this case. Why did it take so long for the authorities to release the details of this case? It has been almost 2 weeks since this woman was found dead, and only recently they released the details of the case. Usually when someone passes away under mysterious circumstances, the news covers it immediately. But in this case, it took them a while to release this information. But here's the problem with that statement. When someone is found dead in their garage with a note next to them, it is almost always ruled a suicide. But what if the note was planted there? What if it was written by someone else? I don't know. It is just something to think about. If there was absolutely no foul play involved and it was a suicide, then why did it take them so long to release this information to the public? This is extremely suspicious to me. And sadly, given her recent lawsuit, this woman is in a very long line of people who dared to stand up to dangerous corporations and face severe consequences. I am talking about people like Rachel Carson, for example, who wrote a book called Silent Spring. She exposed the dangers of pesticides, specifically one called DDT. And this book was published in 1962. Soon after that, Rachel Carson became very sick and passed away. Also, there was a whistleblower from Monsanto who tried to expose the truth about Roundup Ready, the herbicide, and he was found dead in his garage in a suspected suicide. His name was Kevin Connor. He was only 50 years old. Here's what I want you to take away from this tragic story. If you know someone who might be struggling, reach out to them. Be kind. And be supportive. Let your loved ones know that you care about them. Never assume that everything is fine because they didn't mention any struggles or problems to you. Remember that oftentimes those who seem to be happy on the outside may be struggling deep down inside. I hope that this woman found peace and that her family finds comfort during this difficult time. Thank you for watching the video. Please share your thoughts. If you have any information about this case, please contact the authorities. I appreciate your time. Have a good one.